The Dead Sea Scrolls, do they have any value? What is the purpose of Dead Sea Scrolls? Do they prove anything? That's what we're going to be talking about in this episode. We want to let you know the Dead Sea Scrolls prove the validity of the Bible. Watch. So, Dead Sea Scrolls, bro. Tell us a little about what in the world are Dead Sea Scrolls?
Okay. It was found in 1947.
Okay.
In Qumran at the Dead Sea. They actually found some little boys, some shepherds that was there. They found it accidentally. So they found some jars in a cave, and then they were like, what is this? And then they looked at it. They actually took it to a antique store at that time, and it was worth $500 at that time. And then watch this. And then a few days later, they sold it for $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it is wild. I was just like doing my research, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So why is it important? Like, let's talk about it,
Yeah, so one of the reasons that it's important is because a lot of people say that the Bible is not true. And here's why. Because it's been translated so many times.
Right.
And because it's been translated so many times and retranslated, it's lost its value.
Yeah.
Therefore, the Bible cannot be trusted the way that you would want it to be trusted because it doesn't hold weight.
Exactly.
That's the argument.
Exactly.
But once we found the Dead Sea Scrolls, what we have in the Bible ended up getting confirmed that what was in the Bible is actually true.
Yep.
So that's where that comes from.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Kind of like, okay, what's the first? Okay, number one, why are they valuable, right? Number one, they're very old.
Yeah.
Right?
They date back all the way to 250 BC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
250 BC to 68 AD, right? So that alone, valuable. When you have something that's that old, oh my goodness, that's why it cost $500,000 back in that time, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, you can actually see this in Israel right now. They actually have this there that people are open to look at. So
yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, it actually even goes all the way back to 150 BC to 1000 AD.
Mercy. Yeah.
And so when they found that in Qumran, one of the things that really stood out is that there were texts before the Qumran, because you're probably thinking, okay, these were found in 1947, as you said. Well, then how do we know before 1947 that we could trust those things? Or how did these happen? Well, they were lost, right? But you also have what you call the Masoretic text. And then you also have Aleppo Code, which was Aleppo Codex, which is from 950 AD. And then you also have the Codex Leningrad, which was 1008 AD. And then you also have the Bible where there was a Hellenistic king that wanted it translated into their language, which was the Greek. And so that king had them translate everything, which is what we know as the Septuagint. So these are also different codes that were there at first as well. And when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, they actually found these to be almost 100%. So you're probably thinking, well, hold on, bro. You just said almost 100%. So why wasn't it 100%?
Yeah.
Good question. The reason it wasn't 100% is because language changed over time. So there were certain punctuations and certain things that were removed that were not there. However, when they found Aleppo Codex when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls and they connected it to the Aleppo Codex, they found that it was 99% agreed with the Leningrad Codex. And then they also found that the Cairo Codex also agreed 99% with the Leningrad and Aleppo Codex. And then you got Qumran that confirms these things. So the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is from Qumran, that confirms these things. So that goes to show you that even throughout all this crazy translations of the Bible, that the Bible actually still held its own weight to be true during that time.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, why should I care? You know what I'm saying? Like, why does this even matter to me? Like, well, how would you answer that?
I think one of the reasons this matters to you is because when people tell you, man, no, you can't trust the Bible because it's been translated so many times.
Right.
This confirms, after looking at those different translations, when they come and they apply to the Dead Sea Scrolls, because they're so accurate, the Bible actually can be trusted. That's probably the most important thing, why it really matters.
Exactly.
In fact, I want to share some quotes with you guys from some of the people that analyze these Dead Sea Scrolls in person that are like major historians. Notice what they said. One says this, Dr. Ron Rhodes, who actually got to analyze them himself. He says, The Dead Sea Scrolls prove the accuracy of the transmission of the Old Testament books of the Bible. In fact, in these scrolls discovered at Qumran in 1947, we have Old Testament manuscripts that date about 1,000 years earlier, 150 BC, than the other Old Testament manuscripts previously in our possession, which date to AD 980. The significant thing is that when one compares the two sets of manuscripts, it is clear that they are essentially the same with very few changes.
Yeah, it's crazy because, have you heard of Chinese whispers or telephone?
Mm-mm.
Like, so there's this kind of like a game type of thing where...
Oh, telephone. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, when you play telephone and stuff like that, for that many years, you probably get the like
way different message. Yeah,
and
that's a good analogy.
And here, the Bible, man, it's like this thing that stands very true from that dates back all the way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, wow,
In fact, another quote to add on to what you're saying, Sir Frederick Kenyon, who was the former director of the British Museum for 21 years, this is what he says: the Christian can take the whole Bible in his hand and say without fear or hesitation that he holds in it the true word of God, handed down without essential loss.
Great.
He's saying this from them finding Qumran. Like, this is what gave us facts.
Yeah.
Another quote: even though the two copies, this from Dr. Ron Rhodes, even though the two copies of Isaiah discovered in Qumran Cave near the Dead Sea in 1947 were 1,000 years earlier than the oldest dated manuscript previously known, AD 980, they prove to be word for word identical with our standard Hebrew Bible. Our standard Hebrew Bible, keep in mind, that's what we use now, in more than 95% of the text. The 5% of the variation consisted chiefly of obvious slips of the pen and variations in spelling. Not that the words were changed or that there's no validity in the Bible.
Exactly. Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And, I did a little bit of research too as well, like back in those days when the Jewish scribes, what they would do, they were very particular. What they would do, they would count word for word for word. And if they see something incorrect, they'll they'll restart the whole manuscript.
That's actually like the Masoretes are like that.
Exactly.
They get that from, they actually went letter for letter, bro. So like some people went word for word, and then it gets even more serious. It was letter for letter.
Crazy.
Yeah. So just imagine writing a whole paper, and then you on like page 10, and then you made one wrong letter.
Got to do it.
You would start from the beginning. That's how serious they were in transcribing this.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's the Dead Sea Scrolls for you. It proves the validity of the Bible. If you have any friends that are like, man, the Bible is not true, show them this video right here. And also comment in the comment section below if you have anything you would like to share, or if you believe differently. We want to hear your opinion as well. And then also how to build a stronger relationship with God as well. Check out one of our videos down below. Subscribe, hit the notification. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.